If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
The blah blah.
Sending out good vibes.
The blah blah.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
The blah blah.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that.
Yusuf or Ben, like, they know if you walk out into this area where there's probably, no tourists is going over there, but they know that there's an object over there that shows you these kinds of things. And so Yusuf led us over and showed us a place where there's an old kingdom structure, a small one.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica Show. We are going to be chatting with the Snake Bros, Russ and Kyle, a little bit later about their much-anticipated trip to Egypt. They just came back. Of course, also doing some scouting for our trip to Egypt next year, which is now definitively scheduled for November 12th to 26th. Still working on that itinerary, but all that stuff will be out this year. Tickets should be on sale this year, and we'll be taking deposits this year. So all great stuff. Fantastic.
Nice.
And it's a fun chat. They had a blast over there. They sort of fill us in on it all, and it's a good one.
Yeah, and the interesting part about it from a perspective of ancient mysteries is they're focusing on, advanced civilization evidence, not just the dynastic period. So that's what I don't know why I didn't really catch that before talking to Ben and all that that tour is really focused on like mysterious stuff, that they don't have answers for, and that isn't part of the mainstream narrative.
Yeah, it looked super fun. I can't wait to, but I guess we can almost be on the count. I was like going through next year. It's busy. Oh
Yeah, I know.
and I got to go to Washington in January. So it's like January, February, April, May, June, September, November. That's fun.
Yep.
Hopefully we're allowed out of the house.
Yeah. My mom sent me a picture from a store in BC of the empty shelves. So, we should probably send our good vibes out to everybody in British Columbia who's affected by this perfect storm of natural disasters, floods, and...
Yeah, you can't eat the good vibes, but maybe you can meditate on them, and it'll help you feel less. We're thinking about you. That's got to be rough when if you can't buy food. Is that in Vancouver?
Yeah, maybe New Westminster or something like that, or in the Lower Mainland.
Could you leave Vancouver if you wanted right now?
What's that?
Could you leave Vancouver if you wanted yet? Without going through the States?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But at one point there, all the roads were shut down, I guess. That was last week. But the guy in the grocery store told my mom it'll be back to normal in about 5 days. So I guess they're keeping a close eye on it.
Or they've been given answers.
But it shows you how close you are. It's a few days and then the shelves are empty, right? It doesn't take long. So.
Oh, yeah, just from some rain. Really, at the end of the day, that's what causing all of those problems is it rains too much and the rivers swell up and it just destroys all of the bridges. It's a real shame. The pictures of the stuff I was looking at wasn't going to be fixed in a couple of days. There's the Coca-Cola is going to be in rough shape for months.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what we'll see start to happen here. Of course, Vancouver's the biggest port in Canada. Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't affect our Amazon stuff. Oh, man.
Bigger than Montreal, too, eh?
Yes, biggest in Canada, yeah. Bigger than Toronto and Montreal. Montreal gets that ocean shit, but it don't get the shit from China, bro.
Yeah, right.
Everything comes from China. Anyway. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Just how it's probably changed, It's probably grown quite a bit in the last 20 years on the West Coast here because of that.
How long have you been out here now?
since 77.
What? Not like from Quebec,
Oh, what did you mean?
from Vancouver.
Oh, 2011 was when I came out. So 11 years. What is that? 12, 10, what?
10 years. How come your French ain't better?
Because I gave up. I hated it in school.
Bonjour, bonjour.
We
Comment ça
had the
va?
siesta. We had the
Ça va
French.
bien.
We had the siesta class. We were hanging out in the back of the room, causing trouble.
Ça va très
A
bien.
bunch of us, yeah.
Real shame, Dunlop. You could have been.
Even though we had cute French teachers, but I still didn't want to learn the language.
You could have done Duolingo. You know.
Yep.
What's the
I pick
double
it up
language?
pretty quick. I mean, I can read a lot of it, and it's almost there. I can speak some of it probably.
Think.
Yeah.
Let's hear. Give us a little taste of your French. No?
Pardon moi?
Come on. Everyone knows that.
No, I'm not doing it.
Bonjour, bonjour. Comment ça va?
Yeah,
Ça va bien?
yeah. I
Ça va
like comme
très
ci,
bien.
comme ça.
Comme ci, comme ça?
Yeah.
That's your jam?
Yeah.
You know what it means?
Meh.
Meh. All right. What do you got for us, Dunlop?
I don't know. You want to talk about my what's going on with me lately and the
The
kitty
vet?
cat and all that? Or?
Okay, I got the perfect jingle for that.
Oh no.
Actually, maybe that's
Thanks,
not
man.
fair because the cat's okay, but I mean,
Well, it's not okay. It's got
it's not out of the woods yet.
it's not out of the woods yet. No. I mean, I'm going to hear back, I guess, from the vet on the new levels. I mean, oh, dude, it's crazy. It's got like pancreatitis, I guess, and liver problems. And I just heard that cats, if they don't eat for 3 days, their liver starts to deteriorate or to go under right then. Like it doesn't take much for cats without eating that they have these liver issues, I guess.
What?
So yeah, so I don't know. We're tube feeding it. We have it's a tube into the esophagus, and we're tube feeding it 4 times a day. And it's eaten a couple times, and it jumped up on the headboard today, and it's meowing like it's coming back a little bit, but the numbers are kind of gone up, and then they came down a bit, and then plateaued. So I'm gonna hear from the vet again, but it's tons of meds. Honestly, dude, I wish I would have had the chance to check out like a naturopath. I wish I would have taken it in earlier and went to a naturopath or something and see how they handle it. Because this is just strictly like Western medicine. Like, here's your levels. These are all the meds you need. Boom, 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 boom. Like, well, I don't know what kind of like side effects these things are on. I've got 18 now. 18 different injections, I guess, into a syringe.
Injections into the little mouth hole?
into the tube that goes into her esophagus per day. So like needs to be fed every 6 hours. Like it's crazy.
And you paid thousands of dollars for the pleasure to do this.
What? For what?
You paid thousands of dollars for the pleasure to do this?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. I mean, it was an emergency vet, 24-hour vet, right? So I wish I would have it would be interesting to see how a naturopathic vet would have taken it. But it's a special cat. I mean, did I tell you the story about
They would have gave you a
this?
shovel.
Did I tell you a story about the cat? Because it happened at Contact at the Cabin when this all went down, right? When this kind of
Contact at the cabin.
yeah.
All right, let's hear your tale of your whimsical tale.
I've got Maria's approval to talk about this.
Have you?
I don't think I've talked about it on the show, but Maria spends like almost half her time in Saskatchewan, right? Pretty much for the last few years. And she's kind of alone out there, but she's with her son and her ex-husband who's got MS pretty bad. And so she visits her son and his girlfriend, and her mom and dad are out there that aren't doing very well. They're kind of they were in a home for a while their house, but they're back at their house now. And so she visits her family when she's back there. But she's got a friend there, and they share this cat, Boo. And so when she's out there, she has the cat, and when she comes back here, he has the cat, right? And he's been great. He helps them out with all kinds of plumbing and stuff. He drives from the city to help them with all kinds of stuff. And she actually he picked her up from here when I left for Contact at the Cabin with the Scablands. He picked her up and drove her all the way back to Saskatchewan. Like that's the kind of guy he is, right? He drove all the way out here to get her, and in his new car or something. I think he was testing a new car, or he had a new car. So he was like, I'll make it out there. So he came all the way out here to get her, picked her and the 3 cats up, drove back to, I think, was it? Yeah. Did he pick yeah, he did, right? Do you remember that? So he picked all the cats up in Maria and drove her back to Saskatchewan. Then that week, his work says, you don't look that good. You should go home and go get a test. So here Maria is thinking, geez, does he have COVID? Do I have COVID? I was driving with him for all day long, like for
This is
8 or
while
9
you
hours.
have COVID.
Yeah.
Is this while you have COVID? Are we still in Washington now, or are we back?
This is while I have COVID. So, I mean, I kind of knew at the time that there's a chance I'm going to have COVID. So, of course, I didn't want to tell her that at the time, but she calls me down. We talked while we were down at Contact at the Cabin in Soap Lake, and she says, well, James hasn't answered my text, and I'm worried about him. He had to go home and get a test, and I haven't heard from him since, and this is not like him at all. And I said, well, why don't you get somebody to go check on him, because he's gone through all kinds of cancer scares and everything. So I said, why don't you send your son to go check on him? And so anyway, she ends up going to check on him because she wasn't feeling good at the time, and her son wasn't feeling good at the time. So they're worried about COVID and all. But anyway, she goes over to check. She's knocking on the door. There's no answer. But before that, she's like, I know something is wrong with this guy. Like I know it, even though it was just, who knows, it could be anything if he's not texting, right? I mean, most people wouldn't come to that conclusion right away, but she intuitively knew something was wrong. So nothing happened. So she calls the cops and asks for a wellness check. And in the meantime, she goes to her parents and writes out a note because she just didn't think anything was going to happen. She thought she'd have to leave a note or something for him. So the cops come to the house, and she goes back to that house, and they're banging on the door, James. And the guy upstairs, who happens to be his son, answers the door. And Maria's like, where's your dad? Where's your dad? And he's like, he's downstairs in his room. No big deal. And she goes, go down there and check on him right away. Like break down the door. The door was locked. So the cops go down there, and she's like, they're knocking on the door. There's no answer. She's like, break down the door, because she knew something was wrong. Right. And they break down the door, and he's lying on his bed, dead, passed away. And she's like, I knew he was dead. Like, because she was telling me that, like, I have a feeling he's dead. So the cops didn't want her in there, but she went in there and tried to wake him up, and like he wouldn't. He was toast. So that's kind of like, the story. It's just, it was obviously sad and everything, and the cat now is hers altogether. So there's a special connection to the cat. But yeah, she's been through a lot of rough times. That's the second friend of hers that she's found. The first one committed suicide, that she found in their house, that she knew there was something wrong. The second time that's happened to her now.
Damn.
So they don't know what it was. Like, it was, and I was like, well,
I still don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
No autopsy.
I think they
nothing?
said it was his heart. So I think he might have had heart issues or something. So.
Well, that's a real damn shame. You never want to hear that. Shout out to Maria. We hope you get through it. Does she still listen to this show?
And the cat, what's that?
She don't listen anymore, does she?
Not really. Sometimes.
Well,
She's just funny. She just asked me tonight about listening again. But the main thing is, I mean, this is why the cat's so special, right? It's got some sentimental value, and it's a super cool cat. But I think the cat was affected by this. Comes over to our place, 3 other cats here. Somehow I'm turning into a cat man.
He's the cat man.
So we thought, what, we got to try and keep this thing alive. So we're doing it. So I'm feeding it all day, every day.
Why? Well, I mean, yeah.
So, but they can't tell you. So here's the frustrating part is, they just do all this scientific measuring, of course. What's your liver values, your bilirubin's up, and all this stuff, right? What's all this?
This is on the cat.
What's all this on the cat?
What's
right?
a bilirubin?
It's one of the markers for liver problems, right? She's got the fatty liver disease thing now and pancreatitis because she hadn't ate. So I'm like, well, why wasn't she eating then? I mean, is it stress? Did they cause this from themselves? Like, she moved into this new house. She lost weight right away, but we thought it was just because stress and she's not eating as much. But they can't tell you that. So it's like there's no holistic look at this, right? It's like, hey, let's take care of the emergency, which is the liver. Let's fix that. And then I guess they go on from there. Meds, maybe long-term meds. Like, well, why isn't she eating? Is it because of her pancreas, or does that cause because of her no eating? Because then I find out later from a friend at a meditation class, he's like, well, yeah, after 3 days, their liver starts to go already. Cats aren't designed very well to not eat like that, which is the first I've ever heard that kind of thing.
That's the first I ever heard of that too.
Yeah. And it kind of makes sense. So did she just stress herself out and not eat because one of her, James died, and then she comes over here with all these other cats, and there's it's an adjustment here. Then she stresses herself out and then causes her own pancreatitis
how long was
and liver
James dead
disease.
for? Was the cat locked up down there for a couple of days without food too?
No, she happened to be at Maria's at the same time. So
any chance
at that time,
had a bad diet? Getting fed
No.
people food or anything like that?
Yeah, some people food. Yeah.
What's the people food?
Maybe it's the people
The
food. I don't
cats
know.
aren't cut out for
I feel
that.
fortunate my other cats don't eat people food, really. Like, Zeus could care less about what I'm eating. But my other cats back in the 90s and the 2000s, man, they loved it. My guy would grab a bag of marshmallows and be snacking it as he walked with the bag outside the closet. I mean, he was just all over the people food.
My cat will steal bacon if I leave it out. But they won't. That's like only if I leave it out and like leave the house. I'll come home, they'll be like, bacon's gone off the counter. And I'm like, fuck, I left the bacon out.
But now that makes sense on your little thing about cats and dogs, right? The cats will eat you because after 3 days, they're like,
100%,
they're like, after 3 days,
they're
getting hungry. They're okay, this guy's looking
it's
mighty
him or
fine.
me. It's him or me. Well, here's some good vibes to Maria and the cat. Hoping it pulls through. I'm sorry that it's chewing through your savings. America.ca/support if people want to make a one-time donation, help out with the cat fund. I mean, it's crazy. These vets get fucking carried away fast, and the next thing you know, you're broke.
If Maria supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
That fucking Cocker Spaniel cost me a pretty penny. It's fucking eye disease and this other fucking shit.
Goodbyes. Goodbyes.
It's hard to let it go. It's hard to know because you have a chance to save it, right? So you've figured out what's wrong with it, and you have a chance to save it. So you got to keep kind of.
Now it's allergic to
Make that.
meat, I think, so it's on this crazy food that costs a fortune. Oh yeah, well yeah. Bullets are cheap too, though. Sometimes it's just like it's time for them to move on, and their soul is time to evolve into a new creature, a butterfly, something. But hopefully not yet. Anyway, let's cut this jingle off here, and I'm going to jump into... I had it all queued up, too. Here we go.
Get out a pen and paper and write this down. Or a pencil. Why don't you send some physical mail to the Grimerica Show? At P.O. Box 16033. Next line. 100-815, comma, 17th Avenue, SW. Next line. Calgary, Alberta. Next line. Canada. Next line. T2T space 5H7. That's the P.O. Box.
So, shout out to Brando down in Washington. Supposed to be sending me some of his company swag. So clearly he's given I gave him my home address, told him not to share with anyone, and he shared it with someone. I got a book in the mail today on my way home. Imagine my surprise. Canada's Holy Grail, Lord Stanley's political motivation to donate the Stanley Cup. You ever hear this?
Weird. No.
Yeah, it's by, here, I'll read the quick blurb in the beginning. In 1892, Lord Frederick Arthur Stanley donated the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup, later known as the Stanley Cup, to crown the first Canadian hockey champions. Canada's Holy Grail documents Lord Stanley's personal politics, his desire to affect Canadian nationality and unity, and the larger transformations in Anglo-liberal political thought of the time. This book posits that the Stanley Cup fit directly within Anglo-American traditions of using sport to promote ideas of the national, and the donation of the cup occurred at a moment in history when Canadian nationalists needed identifying symbols. Jordan B. Goldstein asserts that only with a transformation in Anglo-liberal thought could the state legitimately act through culture to affect national identity. Drawing on primary source documentation from Lord Stanley's archives as well as statements by politicians and hockey enthusiasts, Canada's Holy Grail integrates political thought into the realm of sport history through the discussion of a championship trophy that still stands as one of the most well-known and recognized Canadian national symbols. Jordan P. Goldstein is a professor in the Department of Kinesiology at Wilfrid Laurier University. Yeah, I used to party at a bar just down the street from there, Loose Change Louis, back in the day when I lived in Guelph. Darren, my bro, Brandon L., told me that you would enjoy this book. I hope you enjoy this new historical examination of our country's most famous national symbol. I hope you like it. Jordan Goldstein from the University of Toronto Press. I might let one of them publish.
Oh, so it's a new book?
It just come out. Yeah,
wow.
I think it. Well, did it say it just come out? Didn't it say in here somewhere? Must say somewhere. It looks like 2021, University 2021,
okay, wow.
This year. So
Cool.
I'm going to give this one to you to read. And we should have him on the show. Brandon, you better throw some dirty socks in that package, you motherfucker. Just kidding. I love you, buddy. All right. What else you got?
Well, did you want to thank somebody else for
Oh,
something
yeah,
else
the
you got?
lion. The lion in Colorado. I'll leave it at that. I mean, I'm telling you, we got T-Bone and Melt. These guys talk a big game, growing all their weed. Never ever send me any. Actually, that's not true. I think Melt sent me a little bit once. T-Bone never. He just sends me pictures all the time. He's like, it's too hard. It's too hard. So Mac had sent me 2 ounces before. Now, the lion in Colorado has just upped that and managed to get 3 ounces of Primo Bud through. It looks like the Canadian borders opened it, looked in there and repackaged it and still allowed it to come on its way. And it said on the thing that it was so it's this weird lock-in combination satchel. It's like a little zipper satchel that goes together in the middle and this little lock goes through it. And then you need the combo. And it said on the customs declaration that it was a satchel prototype. So he had flattened out the weed and vacuum packed it a couple times all flat. So I was in the satchel. And I mean, I got to say, it took me, like, I remember I texted you and I was like, hey, I still haven't heard from anyone on how to get into this fucking satchel. Luckily, I was able to get into it at a red light. Just bad design. It was really bad design. I mean, it's a zipper. You're not going to keep me out. Unless the one thing that does work is if you get the 2 zippers.
Oh, I thought you would have. I thought the way you told me about it is like you figured out the combo. Like you mastered the puzzle and figured out the combo. I thought it was like 420.
I just kept. Ooh, fuck. That's a good idea.
You should have tried it.
I should have tried 420. I think I tried 0, 0, 0 and 1, 2, 3. I tried 420. I still have the satchel. So
but
I kept
it's got
it.
a broken zipper now.
No. I was able to just like keep rolling the thing in on itself, and it just like the zipper just came out in this weird way. That was enough for me to pop the weed out. But if you had like a book in there, you wouldn't have got it out. The weed was very sort of malleable in a sense.
Right. Okay.
3 ounces. That's a standard record of weed sent internationally. I have got more than that non-internationally. But internationally, 3 ounces, T-Bone Melt. See where your game's at. I mean, anyway, huge shout out to the lion in Colorado. I think that's it, right? Was there another shout out? No, I think we did all the mail shout outs now.
Well, we did.
I got to check the mail again.
Okay, we did get some stuff. Let's talk about this because it was from a Grimerica Outlawed episode. And it was Derek and Julissa from Mystical Wares. We had a great conversation with them, 2-hour app on Grimerica Outlawed. And they're the biggest distributor of shungite in the world. So they sent us some shungite, and they sent us a book about the power and the energy of shungite. And he's also into Buckminster Fuller. We talk about healing with a soccer ball shaped like a C60 carbon sort of molecule shape thing, healing inside that. So we talked about energy healing and all kinds of stuff like that. And he sent us some, I got a little necklace pendant and bracelets made of shungite. So big shout out to them too. That was from our other show.
Buckyball.
Yep.
I fucking hate the new Evernote. Anywho.
So what about this review, this bad review? Do you want to talk about that?
Did we get another bad review? I thought we were all good reviews this week.
You sent me one.
I sent you good reviews today. We got all 5 stars.
I know, but I wanted to talk about the bad one because it's pretty funny.
All right, you can read it. You can be a review guy.
I don't know where it was from, but it's something about us. Somebody was upset because we're not fighting against the
medical tyranny.
The medical
That's the reviews on the iTunes.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
another one.
Do you want to address that?
I think it was a 2-star.
So maybe we should just point them to Grimerica Outlawed because we've had a lot of we've had doctors and scientists and people pushing back against this whole
here's
thing
the
over
thing.
there.
They must not listen to the intros, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Because
they're not going to hear this. They're not going to hear this.
I got emails from people.
They're not going to hear
about this that we read on the show. I mean, I don't know what else we can really do besides maybe taking it to the street, but I don't really think that's the answer right now either. And we're not participating in things. So, but I mean, I'd love to know, what he would do in our instance to fight. It'd be interesting to know.
I had a COVID test today. I finally found the place that gives you the result that doesn't have one of those stupid stickers on it. So now I could digitize it and make my own. Sell them to my friends.
That's not fighting back, Darren.
I didn't say it was. It was.
Yeah.
But sometimes I got shit to do.
My project operation was about this.
Your WAPO?
Yeah,
was?
If you want to go over it. Well, it is, yeah.
Well, was is past tense, so I thought maybe I'd put it out to pasture.
But maybe I shouldn't because we don't want to fight this fight, so maybe we shouldn't talk about it.
We don't want to fight the fight?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh. Good one.
I can't believe you fell for
that. I can't find it. The oppo's over.
It's from a Tom Woods email. I'm on his newsletter subscription because he's got really good emails. I mean, they're all original, written, and he's fighting back big time. I mean, about this. He's doing a great job. Tom Woods.
Who's Tom Woods?
Bunch of good guests coming on. Kind of a libertarian guy. So, do you want me to start, or did you find the jingle? There it is.
What's that noise? Looks military to me. Definitely military. Probably classified too.
Dishfire, Prism, Sentry Eagle, Sigma, Mannequin, Artichoke, MK Ultra. Operation Project.
Again, big caveat because Tom is referencing a mainstream article about this one. So I don't know if this is just misinformation or disinformation from basically the Daily Mail who's got this article out, but now other people are picking up on it. But it's called Operation Rampdown. Have you heard about it?
Rampdown?
Yeah.
No, I know. No.
So it's supposedly leaked. The Daily Mail got a hold of leaked documents describing an Operation Rampdown, whereby the UK government will walk back its COVID response early in the new year. So among the provisions, it would axe the legal requirement for those who catch the virus to self-isolate for 10 days, shut down the national test and trace system, which identifies those who may be exposed to the virus, focus the fight against COVID on tackling local outbreaks, and protecting the highest risk settings, such as care homes. So there's some quotes here. Like one document says, we will no longer be prioritizing the previous objectives of breaking chains of transmission at all costs. So this guy, Robert Dingwall of Nottingham Trent University, former government advisor, says, I very much welcome the fact that people are planning for the end of the emergency and the restoration of everyday life. Treating COVID like any other respiratory infection should encourage people to dial down the fear and anxiety that have bedeviled the country over the past couple of years. So, I mean, I honestly don't know what you think about that. It smacks of... the problem is I'm just fucking distrusting everything these days. I just don't trust it. I mean,
You're cynical.
I'm cynical of all this stuff, not personal friends and people and our listeners and guests and all that, but just online stuff,
Life.
Life. Did you say?
Yeah.
So
a little bit.
There's another one. So the Guardian picked up on it and said UK officials have compiled COVID exit strategy from April report. And then it says they've been, officials have been working on a COVID exit strategy. There's then a lot of it's repetitive from what I already read. It says the documents were prepared by the UK Health Security Agency, the UKASA, and they give ministers the option of dismantling the official government-backed testing system and tracing operations. So I don't know. Number 10 sources distanced ministers from the document on Sunday and denied the April target. No ministers have asked for this or seen it, one source says. So they're already, the problem is they throw out a headline like this and claim there's from some leaked documents. You can't plan so far ahead with this disease. It's very premature to be talking about that at this stage, particularly ahead of winter. And then you've got at the bottom of this, you've got a Neil Ferguson. Guess what his prediction is?
COVID forever.
No, quite the opposite. Which
COVID's over.
An epidemiologist at Imperial College London, and we all know who this is with the bogus fucking models from the beginning of this whole fiasco. He thought
he got fired.
Oh no, he got promoted probably.
He got caught like sneaking around and breaking.
Oh no, fuck! That was just part. Yeah, who cares?
That was just part of the song. What? Part of the what?
No, nothing.
Okay, just no pushback.
He said this weekend that he thought it unlikely that there would be a catastrophic winter wave similar to last year's, which led to months of lockdown. So
that's kind of where I'm at too.
So what does that tell me? The opposite's going to happen.
Oh,
because he's just predicting. He's wrong on all his predictions.
Could be. I think
purpose?
Ontario said that they plan to be out of everything by March. We'll see. I mean, they haven't had their fourth wave yet. The UK has had the fourth wave, but the rest of Europe hasn't.
No, they're all going through it right now. I mean, this is, Austria's locking down. There's been protests all over the place.
We're done our fourth wave, it seems like.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, eh? It just kind of dwindled out.
Maybe it is like a real wave. Is it like a real wave going around?
No, but it shouldn't have lasted January or like, isn't it a
winter
thing?
The thing is, I think
like
everyone's got a hat. Most people must have had COVID by now.
There's some websites popping up in I think it's in, is it Europe or the Netherlands or somewhere where they're saying there's a G. Have you heard of the G2? So it's the Green Pass 2. So if, like you and I would be fine because we've had it. So we show them that we've had it and we have some natural immunity. So we get the G2, right?
Is that like a super pass?
So
is that better than a regular G? Or?
Well, it's the non-jab pass, right? It's like, hey, we've had it. So now people are putting up websites offering people to give them the sickness.
Son of a bitch! I knew I should have blown up some. I was gonna blow up a bunch of balloons and just save them.
Oh, so here's a COVID balloon, and if you want to just,
I wonder how long it lasts. Anywho. I think that's I mean, it looks like we're whatever fourth wave we had. It was pretty bad for a while. If the numbers were real, it's like they say like 350 people in ICU a couple months ago, and now it's like I think 87 or something. So
and whether it comes back in January or not, who knows? But I mean,
Who knows? But I feel like everyone must have had it by now, including a bunch of vaccinated people who didn't realize they had it. And
it reminds me, though, the Operation Rampdown of what we were promised from our Alberta government. Remember? And I said they're going to not fall.
Well, Kenny didn't check the date.
The beginning of September.
That dummy didn't check the date on the memo. It's supposed to be 2022.
Exactly. It's like, oh, we're late on the Operation Rampdown.
He's like, we're out of here. They're like, no, you fucking idiot. That's next year. I don't know. Kenny he's a real piece of work. Anyway, I
don't trust any of these guys.
All the it's weird out everywhere I go now, other than the, obviously the restaurant thing. But and I found out you can go to the Strathmore movie theater. They'll let you in.
Cool.
There. Yeah, they went with 1/3 capacity instead of.
Wow, that's positive news.
Which I think a bunch of the Calgary ones tried to do too, and then the city passed a bylaw and said no, none of that shit. But you can go to Strathmore, watch movies out there, and you don't need any of that bullshit. There's a lot of like restaurants outside of Calgary too that don't give a fuck. It's really, the cities, man.
I know.
Cities, but. Yeah, hopefully. But in my like day to day, all the like places that were threatening and getting their back up, now there's done this weird thing where they've just completely stopped talking about it, stopped asking for stuff. And me and one of the guys were actually talking today on what we think. They just go like, we're just like, well, I think we should just stop bringing it up and see what happens. Because, I work for so many different clients and everything else, and they've all got these different rules, and all of them had some sort of different mandate that was coming in at different times by the end of this year. And so far, they've all evaporated or been pushed back, and a couple of them have just like, we're just not talking about them anymore at all. So we'll see what happens. Is next year supposed to be the worst year, the better year? We got to get Gordon White on again?
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty dark next year, according to that astrological prediction. Yeah.
Isn't Kent now be the dark? Is now the dark?
Not yet. Give it another month or two.
Wasn't the dark?
I don't know. Who knows,
under
right?
Attack. We'll see what happens. We're still planning to travel. We're going to Egypt. The bros just got back from Egypt. We're going to Arizona. We're going to Utah. Are you going to buy? We probably won't be able to fly these places.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. You've got your, you got your card. You can go through the border.
I can get you into the States. No problem. No problemo. It's just, you just don't try not to sweat too much when you say, yes, I have my COVID shot. Just say, yes, I'm immunized. Say that. I'm immunized.
Yeah.
Because you've had COVID. Exactly. So we'll find a nice way for you to phrase it that you don't like burst out into tears.
I have my immunity.
I got my immunity. Here's my card. Because here's the thing, they're not going to have the app that all these other people have.
Oh, they will. I don't know.
The U.S. policy is that we're just going to ask you, and we're going to randomly check some people.
Yeah.
But I don't think Montana and Idaho are going to randomly check shit. Those are two states that don't have it to deal with it on their day-to-day. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't have it any place but just at work. You go fucking card Canadians all day. That sounds like we could just be like, come on, bro. Come on. We got an event to do. We're just, come on. Maybe you get in. Maybe you go home. We'll get Maria to follow behind just in case I have to leave you at the border. Like, sorry, Grant.
There you go.
Like, sorry, bro.
Well, she'll probably come to a couple of these, hopefully. So.
Well, if you can't get over the border, she ain't going to get over the border.
Yeah.
We'll have to find some hobos to pay. Anyway,
so
what else?
Leave a good review for.
Leave a good review.
We did get a bunch of 5-star reviews. Thank you to all those people that do that, and people can leave more to make up for that one bad 1-star. That says
we have plenty of 1-stars.
We're out of the fight.
Yeah, we're out of the fight. Out of the fight. And grimerica.ca/support, guys, if you can. Support is a little tougher these days with everyone out of work and everything, all that shit. People going through this bullshit. grimerica.ca/support. We're not complaining. We got a bunch of great people out there that help us get through all this stuff.
Oh yeah, we couldn't do this. I couldn't take this leap of faith into like full-time audiobook narration and podcasting without the support. I mean, it's
that being said, it is time to buy a net so that Graham or a pool or something, so Graham doesn't just land flat on his fucking face on the pavement. grimerica.ca/support. Sign up this week. Check out grimericaoutlaw.ca for all of those other podcasts. Maybe you can sign up for Plus over there. You can head over to adultbrain.ca. Check out all those audiobooks. And you can most of all enjoy this chat with the Brothers of the Serpent.
Snake Bros. All right, we got Kyle and Russ here from the Brothers of the Serpent, fresh back from Egypt. I think where their secret society might have originated.
That's very possible.
How's it going, guys? Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Good. Is that where Brothers of the Serpent is from? Is that what the deal is, or the mystery schools?
It could be. I mean, if it existed, it definitely had a presence there. That's for sure. There was serpent symbolism all over the place. Like
if it existed,
yeah, it's mythical.
Oh, I don't know. Really? You think?
Yeah. I mean, I'll buy it. But I'm just saying, for the Skirps, it's mythical, it's legendary, it is a secret society. It's totally unknown whether it was real or not, but I think it was.
What's the Skirps? The skeptical something?
Yeah, it's our name for skeptics, Skirptards.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We don't appease them here.
No, you don't. That's right.
I'm half.
We don't appease them. We don't appease them on our show either. We give them a lot of crap, though.
The Johnsons.
I had a quote ready from this 1800s book I'm reading about materialism and the Skirptards. It's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah. I mean, I can't believe how bad they were fighting materialism back then, and religion.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, it's
yes.
really interesting.
Yep. They are present in every age. The people who, toe the standard line, whatever that model is at the time.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So I got a question to start this thing off. When I was in Egypt in 1990, I saw some strange things. Straight men holding hands in the street. Does that still happen?
I didn't notice that.
You didn't notice that?
The people are like, they're close. I don't know if we're talking about sexual orientation here or just but I would see them. Yeah. They're close with each other. Because
we were like, why are it just seemed odd because we were in Cairo and probably in some weird place. But
yeah,
I saw all these guys holding hands and it wasn't like the gay part of town or anything like that. And I'm like, I was asking them what's going on. And they're like, that's just what friends do down here. Like the guys there's just straight men, but they just hold hands of friends. And it's just hard to grasp because I can't picture holding Darren's hand walking down the street.
That's Graham's takeaway from Egypt. Is he just wants to hold everybody's hand. Ever since then, you can hold my hand sometime, bro. It's fine.
I did see at least one pair of men holding hands, but I didn't know if they were even Egyptian. So they were. It was, we were surrounded by tourists in a lot of places. So
really, yeah.
Graham was just projecting.
Let's start with the big things. Like what was, I'm sure we're just going to ramble on here, but what was the big surprise for you guys going there? Like you guys have had obviously preconceived notions of Egypt and even like just how things were done there? Was there any overarching like surprise or change from your previous perceptions or thoughts?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lots of little ones.
Lots of little ones for sure. Man, I can't answer this without going into like ridiculous amounts of details. But
what was the number one thing that changed in your Egypt paradigm?
yeah, I don't know.
It's still happening.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's like DMT. It takes a while to integrate.
Yeah, we were there for almost 2.5 weeks. We visited, well, I have tickets for 24 sites, but I think we went to more places than that because some tickets it was one ticket, but multiple sites. And it was just jam packed and it was full of information. And we had, of course, Yusuf and Ben from UnchartedX. And we had I called him the professor. We had a guy there who was specifically brought along who was an expert in hieroglyphs and translations and could not only look at them and tell you the period based on the way the script was done, but it could also basically read it for you. So there was so much information. And then we're also, because the tour was focused in terms of ancient technology, because it was basically an UnchartedX tour. Ben and UnchartedX, his channel, he focuses specifically on evidence for mysterious and anomalous stonework that may show signs of advanced technology in ancient times.
Right.
Advanced technology that we don't have any evidence that the dynastic Egyptians had. Right. So we're not talking aliens here. What we're talking about is an ancient civilization that may be lost to us now, possibly much, much older than dynastic times, maybe pre-Younger Dryas. So that would put them at 12,000 years plus.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. I listened to your last episode, and it did seem like you guys were actually coming to some epiphanies during that episode even.
Yes. Yeah, it's so like going back to what we were originally talking about, it's still happening. We're still trying to process because there is so much information, and then we have all this media, all these photos and videos and everything, and we're going back and looking through it and saying, okay, there's that thing, and now, I'm getting a better look at it. And there were, like, for example, there are drill cores, the holes for drill cores. You know what I'm talking about? So There'd be some piece of granite, and somebody has cut a round hole into it, very deep. And it'll be 3, maybe 4 inches across in diameter. And it was clearly cored out. So in other words, the tool was a thin tube, right? Not like a drill like we use now that like drills all the material out, but a thin tube that cuts all the way in. And then you pull the drill out, and then you would break the core out of there and pull that out. And now you have a hole. There's lots of that all over the place.
And you have a pull.
Yes, there's a core that you have left over, and some of those have been found. There's some in the Petrie Museum in the UK, but we were looking at the holes that are left. Lots of ancient quarry people used those existing holes to split the stone later, because that's an obvious weak point, right? They can jam a wedge in there and use it to split the stone. So some of them you can see open, and you can see the tool marks of the original drill left on the stone.
How big of a diameter are we talking about?
Well, the biggest one we saw was it's pretty famous, isn't it? Like 6 to 8 inches across, but most of them were a couple of inches, 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, I'd say like 4 inches on average usually.
Yeah. But when you're out there in the desert and in the sun, and you're trying to look in this little dark hole in a giant block that's sitting on the ground that you can't move, it's tough. But you can get a high quality camera in there and take a photograph, and then you can look at it after you get home on a big screen, and you can really see lots of details that you couldn't see while you were there. So there's still processing happening in our minds, and we're still talking to each other about it every day. We learned so much, and it was, rather than any huge paradigm change, I think what happened to me is we got so many details that you can't get from looking from afar.
Yeah.
That it allows us to focus our questions better than when you don't have those details.
And did it kind of confirm maybe some of your paradigm?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a confirmation that there is absolutely anomalous stuff there that hasn't been hasn't been satisfactorily explained by the standard model of archaeology.
Yeah, it was sort of both ways too. It was like some ideas that I had about what could possibly be, high technology that is not explained turned out to be not that. It's like, no, this is totally doable. The dynastic Egyptians did this with the tools that we know that they had. And then other things, it was confirmed that, yes, this is anomalous. And like for example, some of the hieroglyphs that are so deeply carved, they look like, they're cast shadows inside the hieroglyphs, like on some of the obelisks and stuff. You would think like, it looks like this is machine carving, but no, it's not. It's handwork, but it's very, very well done. Right? So that the dynastic Egyptians were in their own right amazing stoneworkers, and they could move very heavy loads. So there was a lot of stuff there that's like, yeah, okay, this is possible for these people to have done. And then on the other hand, there were certain things that were like, okay, they don't have any tools that we have found that can do this type of work.
I got the sense that there was a clear definition between eras, I guess, in most of the sites, like between top layers of stuff and massive base layers that they were done maybe at a different time.
Yeah, in some cases there's like a clear difference, like especially like the Osirian. Right. What's the temple above that? Is
Seti the First.
The temple of Seti the First, and then the Osirian are just two totally different. That seems very obvious that like, okay, this is different and way older. More like the megalithic stonework, the other megalithic stonework that was done in granite that was very precise and just ridiculously huge. But in some cases, it was so jumbled up that you couldn't tell. It was like, it's so confusing because these sites had been inhabited for thousands of years, and they're reusing stone. They're excavating stuff, finding stuff, and piecing things back together. And so in some cases there would be hieroglyphs on the back sides of walls that are upside down or sideways. In some cases the hieroglyphs were wiped off of a wall and new ones were put in. Just completely replace whatever the older people wrote on there. So it was, in a lot of cases, it was really great to have Yusuf and Ben there pointing these things out and showing you like, okay, this is actually reused stone that used to be part of another artifact that was over here. And,
like I think what was it
confusing
was it
in a lot of cases.
On the first, it was a day before the tour, maybe 2 days before, Yusuf took us to that spot. And this is, there's huge temples and huge structures everywhere, but Yusuf or Ben, like they know if you walk out into this area where there's probably, no tourists is going over there, but they know that there's an object over there that shows you these kinds of things. And so Yusuf led us over and showed us a place where there's an old kingdom structure, a small one, dedicated not to a pharaoh or anything like that, but just to a priest, like a high priest guy, right? And he was showing you, like, look at this stonework that's in here. This is definitely Old Kingdom. The writing that's on this part of the wall is talking about this priest that we know was an Old Kingdom priest, and he's from this particular dynasty of the Old Kingdom. And yet he's showing you that there are gigantic megalithic blocks that have clearly been reused to build that structure and then written on, to put this priest's name on. So he's like, supposedly these kinds of things weren't being built until after this period. So, and yet here we have evidence that during this period they were already reusing materials from older structures. Right? So it's stuff like that, little details like that happen all throughout the tour. That really just like bring that home to you that there does seem to be a missing period of very capable and advanced building.
When you say, I'm trying to remember the dynasties. When you say Old Kingdom, was that one of the oldest of the newest?
Old Kingdom, Fourth Dynasty, Old Kingdom would have been the pyramid building era.
What they think it was, or
that's when they think it,
like the 3,700 years BC kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So if you're looking at an early Old Kingdom site, right, which is supposed to be right when they first started building enormous megalithic works. And yet you can see that they were clearly reusing enormous megalithic blocks from even older buildings. Then you know something's wrong with the standard story.
Yeah, I think that's changed. I think it's opened up a lot since I was there too in the 90s. I mean, probably got a lot more access to stuff. Especially, I think you guys were saying on your show even that Yusuf saying that it's changing and opening up, and the
yes,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, the mindset of, like what he was saying is the mindset is changing from let's collect a bunch of discoveries and not release them to the public until we have this big collection, and then we'll release them all at once. To like, no, we're just keep releasing stuff and just, putting it out there. Let's
keep the interest up.
Let's allow people to take pictures and post them online, as opposed to preventing any pictures being taken anywhere where you're going, which is, you had to pay. And in some cases you had to pay $20 per photo or something like that back in the day. So they've changed this stuff, and it's definitely more open. Also, the step pyramid, for example, it just opened up. They've been working on it for 15 years.
I think the bit pyramid has recently been opened.
Yeah. So they have been going in and just like, all right, let's fix up a bunch of this stuff. Let's reopen a bunch of stuff. So yeah. And then of course the new museum's going to be opening hopefully this year. Next year. Sorry, It was 2022. But going back to your original question, I was racking my brain, like what was a big something that I had preconceived notions about that changed. So the closest thing I can think of is the idea that I guess there are kind of two things. One of them is resonance. I'm really interested in the resonance of these chambers and some of the hallways and stuff. And that sort of lost its importance, within the first couple of days.
Wow.
Going through there. I mean, it's interesting, but once you've crawled through enough tunnels, even if they're not, they're not ornately designed, if they're just rough, like they can still have all these resonant qualities. So the ones that are built, they're kind of all over the place. You go into one room, it's like one resonance, and then the next one is slightly different. And I mean, it'd be really interesting to catalog all of that stuff, because it kind of is a measuring tool, right? You're measuring the space of the interior. But in a lot of cases, I couldn't really do it adequately without a tone generator. Like if I was just using my voice, I'm only capturing certain wavelengths, because if a tunnel is really long, like there's no way I can get the length of that tunnel or be able to predict, how low it might be, even if I got a high harmonic of it. But the more stuff we went into, the less I was thinking about all of this stuff in terms of, say, like the Giza power plant idea. I just don't see how sound is energetic enough to have much to do with it, other than that it is designed specifically to certain dimensions because of some other reason, right? So by the end of the trip, I was thinking of the sound or the resonance of a chamber in terms of just measuring it, right? I didn't have a measuring tool, so if I could find the resonance, I could write down that frequency and say, well, this is what it resonated at.
And this is the material, and this is the shape, and then go to the next one and have a whole database on.
Right. That would be, and see, there was a guy on the trip that was doing that. His name was Anthony, I think his name was, right? Yeah. And he was doing a way better job of it than I was. He was like taking all this data down and using a laser measuring device. So I was like, all right, I can stop doing that now. But yeah.
You just need your acoustic guitar and a digital recorder and just.
Now that would be awesome. Yeah. Capture some music in these rooms. So at one point we did stop in one of the chambers of a pyramid, and Yusuf played his Egyptian flute in there, and everybody was like really quiet, and it was awesome. It was just beautiful sounding. And that's great. I just, I've the more I thought about it, the less I feel like this is a reason for the dimensions. I feel more or less that it is an effect of the dimensions of these chambers.
Does that go with the king's chamber as well? I mean, did you I saw pictures of you guys lying in there and stuff. You did some toning in there. Did you?
Now
you
that
did-
is
have any spiritual experiences or anything like that? Like I keep thinking that because I think they were obsessed with the afterlife and death and
yes.
the astral realm, and that seems to me like it could be a good
That was the dynastics.
sensory deprivation chamber.
Yeah,
That would be awesome. I agree. Yeah, but
that's you're talking about the dynastic Egyptians. So one of the things we were spending a lot of time thinking about and looking for while we were in Egypt was somebody way before them built a lot of this stuff.
But maybe they picked up on all that knowledge, and that's why they're
absolutely. But when you're talking about a otherwise completely unknown culture, you have to throw everything out, and then you have to all you can look at is the structure itself.
Yeah.
And say, what could this possibly be for? And we know the dynastic Egyptians were very concerned with the afterlife. They did lots of work on it. They put their best minds on it, and that's what they spent a lot of resources thinking about the afterlife and what it was like and how to, maximize your passage through it and into the next place, the house of millions of years, right? But we don't know that about any hypothetical precursor civilization. And honestly, the interiors of those pyramids, as opposed to the interiors of the temples that we went into, the pyramids were like inhospitable.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas the temples they had enormous doorways and beautiful rows of columns, and they were covered in myth and legend and writing and paint. And even though most of that's gone, you can see the remnants of it, and you can imagine what it must have looked like. Whereas the inside of the pyramid is empty.
It's dank, yeah.
Yeah, it's humid too. But I'm just saying, like in terms of its construction, it doesn't seem like people were meant to be in there. It's like crawling around in a drainage system.
Yeah.
Even like a machine, so it's more like a machine.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I was going with this. Like what Darren is saying, it's like a machine, or a system. What we've been kind of switching over to the system idea. But
what about a time capsule or a chamber to save seeds in? I always like to think that maybe that box you guys lied in the king's chamber was all full of seeds and stuff.
You just don't need a 14-acre structure to hold a box full of seeds. But that I'm not trying to. I'm just saying, it's like you look at the whole thing and you're just like, what is this for? Like, why is there this giant triangle around this room?
But it was like a Pez seed machine. They just deliver the seeds every now and again out the shaft.
That's right. You just get a couple seeds a day.
Yeah.
Next group of pilgrims come up and do their stuff, and some more seeds come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that the time capsule idea could have some merit. Because, I mean, yeah, you can dig a tunnel. You could dig a cave underground or whatever. As they did. They dug these massive shafts that went way down. But, of course, if the water level rises, then you've got, it's going to be flooded, which a lot of these shafts are flooded now. And, of course, during the Nile flooding, they would have been flooded.
Yeah.
So you can build a mountain and put a room up in that mountain, and
it won't be flooded.
And it won't be flooded.
Unless there's a serious flood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and you'll be able to see it. If you don't want to hide what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a good hypothesis and something to look for more evidence for.
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask you.
So the interior. So this is how I would possibly deconstruct that. Like, literally, you could protect them by building a much less complicated structure. The interior of the pyramid is so complicated, of the Great Pyramid and the other pyramids that we went in. The masonry is complex. These tunnels are strange and hard to get in and out of. If you didn't want anybody to get in and out of it, don't leave tunnels. Just build up, have your chamber, fill it with seeds, and build over top of it and build all the way up to the top and be done. And then when you need the seeds, you just deconstruct it and get them.
Yeah, because that's a one-time use container.
It's a one-time use container, and it's a one-time use container anyway.
Yeah.
Because like the granite plugs that are in the way of the ascending passageway, they had to tunnel around them. You can't get through.
So that what do you call that thing that you lied in then? What's it technically called?
Sarcophagus.
We just call it a box.
The
Sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus. So in your thought, maybe it's that was, if it's a machine or something, then that could have been a battery or some kind of technology that was stuck in the middle of that chamber.
Yeah.
The liquid mercury went in there.
Yeah,
there you go.
See,
bro.
that's it. It was spinning liquid mercury, and yes, the whole thing flew.
And there was a virgin in there. Yeah,
it looks like that box actually belongs. Right now, it's shoved against the back wall. Like when you come into the king's chamber, you enter near one of the small walls, and then you can look down the long angle of the room to the back wall, and the box is back there. But there are the shaft entrances that come in to the sides, and it looks like it was probably meant to be centered between them. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But
I thought it was in the middle.
No, it's all the way at the back.
Huh.
Maybe they moved it.
It's definitely been moved.
It's been moved for sure. Yeah.
That's in 1990. It was in the middle.
Oh, okay. Well, now it's all the way at the end.
Well, I mean, it'd be hard to find a couple guys that were more excited to go to Egypt than you guys, right? I mean, you've been talking about it on the podcast for a couple of years. The Straight to Pyramids fun, and I mean, I'm excited because we're all going next year. If people want to come with us, they can go to contact@thecabin.com, check that out.
That's right.
We got a waiting list going, and you can check out our other events. If Egypt's a little too pricey for you, we have events all over the price spectrum. But I got to say, because you guys would have been super excited for this, more excited than me, more excited than most people. And was it like overwhelming, underwhelming? What was the most impressive? And like, are you as excited to go back?
Absolutely. I'm more excited to go back now that I know what's there and what, there are definitely places that when we left, I was like, I want to stay in there. I want to keep being there, but we're going to the next place. So it just makes me want to go back even more to these certain sites. And, we went to a couple of sites that we were like, yeah, we're glad we went to those, but we don't want to go back to those.
Do you feel naked without your scarves?
Yes. The scarves. I mean, we got to bring the scarves here. Like Texas needs those scarves.
Texas needs.
Did you keep them? I was hoping you'd wear them for the show.
Bedouin scarf to Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually brought my scarf there because it was a gift from a buddy of mine from a long time ago. And it's actually from Abu Dhabi. So I was wearing it. And the Egyptians would look at it and be like, no.
That's not the right kind.
You want one of these? I was like, no, bro. I got my...
Oh, yeah. I totally got sucked into buying all the attire. I had the pants and the shirts. And
oh, dude, I'm going full robe when I'm there, man. I'm going to look like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Of course, you'll look great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should learn some Egyptian.
Yeah, that was another thing I would like to do is actually work on some Arabic because it's... That would be cool to be able to communicate a little better with the locals. The people are really awesome.
Yeah, I think what we learned, shukran. That's the only
bakshish.
Well, bakshish, yeah, everybody knows bakshish, but shukran is thank you.
Yeah.
What's bakshish?
Bribe.
Oh.
Money. Pay me money.
All right.
Money.
Yeah. They do this.
Like even when you climb up the wall, the canyon wall into the smaller caves in the Valley of the Kings where the priests were, there's still little kids hanging around the cave entrance asking for bakshish.
Oh yeah. Well, so with the tour, and this will happen when we do this next year, we have people with us that do their best to keep that from happening so much. Yusuf obviously is good at it. He also will keep basically, Yusuf and his tour managers are handling the bribes, the bakshish. So they tell you at the beginning of the tour, don't pay anybody. We pay them, and we're very generous. If they ask you for money, you don't have to pay them because they've already been paid. They'll still try to get you to pay them, though, obviously. But yeah, and then, we had what I called MIB with us in a lot of sites, the men in black, dudes in suits with guns. keeping us safe, and also keeping a lot of time, like especially at Giza, where there's lots and lots of, let's say, predatory vendors. Those guys would just stand around looking badass and keeping those people away from us. So, yeah, it's helpful.
Wow. Yeah, things have changed.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should wear a suit.
There are plenty of
instead.
people that didn't have MIB. We just did because we were a VIP tour, which is what we're going to be next year as well. Yeah.
Right on. So what was the if you had to pick one thing, what was the highlight of the tour?
Well, for me, that would be, it's really hard to, I mean, Giza is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
You know, just not necessarily going in to a pyramid. That was always cool, but just being at Giza and being able to walk around those structures was just awesome. But if it were a specific site, I'd have to say it's the Serapeum. I mean, that's one of the places that I want to go back and spend a lot of time with a lot of bribe money.
Is that the one with the straight underground tunnels? You could drive a VW in through it, and with all the
giant boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're talking about giant boxes that barely fit in the tunnels.
Yeah, this place.
There's like
and that's
20
underground, right? I mean,
it's a series of tunnels cut directly into bedrock, and there's alcoves going off of each tunnel, and there's 24 enormous black granodiorite boxes in them where the lids weigh 30 tons and the box itself weighs 70 tons. So together they weigh like 100 tons. And the boxes are so big that they barely fit through the hallways. There's one still sitting in the hallway, and you have to like squeeze past it. So the precision of the boxes and the workmanship makes you wonder what tools they were using, how did they polish these things, and why. And then you see the box that's sitting in the hallway, and you ask yourself, how were they moving them in through here? Because the whole like get a million dudes around it with a bunch of ropes doesn't work.
No, you can't fit that many.
You can't
people.
fit anybody in there.
Oh my God, that's so. Yeah, that really throws a wrench into a lot of explanations, probably, right?
Yes,
yeah. So they had to take them down, and then into this tunnel system and go around the corners in the tunnel system, which are sharp corners.
It also rules out the idea that they could have built the tunnels around them, then having that one in the hallway.
Yeah, because it's dug out of the bedrock.
It's dug out of the bedrock.
Yeah.
The tunnels aren't built.
Oh,
they're
it's
dug
all
out.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that, because you guys saw some of these huge machine marks and stuff as well, like, so how come there's no tooling or machine left after all this massive building? Like, it just,
Well, if it was iron, it'd be gone.
Well, let's just say, even if they were built maybe 6,000 years ago, people have been there the whole time. So if like a civilization built all this stuff with all these tools, and then they somehow died or left all the tools there, one of the most valuable things would be the metal. If there was any metal involved, it would be valuable. People would be taking it apart, breaking it down, scrapping it to make other things, and those things would be sold and traded, and they would be spread all over the world for thousands of years. And what didn't actually wear away or oxidize is just somewhere else.
So what about all the desert? That isn't there a lot of stuff to be dug up still? A lot of desert that hasn't been looked at. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's places that's like, they've never actually excavated that all the way out. Or that's full of water, and they know it goes down further, but they can't get to it because it's got water in it, and it's just everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, look out in the desert over there. There's like this big ring and a sunken divot in the middle of it. Yeah, there's something there. They know there's
something there, and no one's ever dug it out. Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Wow. So you wonder what
should we bring shovels?
Like if it was all all undug. It was probably just a massive.
You know how we like to give away CAC stuff? Towels, shirts, hats.
We have CAC shovels.
This year, everyone gets a shovel.
We could do CAC spoons.
Yeah,
because it's just a spoon, right? You can get away with like, it's just a spoon.
Yeah.
Or we could get those like collapsible emergency shovels that like collapse up all small and go in your pack. Then all of a sudden we're just digging in the night. Was it the same for you then, Russ? That was your favorite spot as well?
Well, since I obviously loved the Serapeum, but since Kyle brought that one up, I'll bring up the Osirian, which we mentioned before. I've been looking at this site for longer than I knew about the Serapeum, and I've been wondering about it. It's and the reason it's fascinating me from afar is because of where it's situated. You know, it's kind of out in the desert. Seti the First built what they call his a temple out there. And the temple's full of chapels, so the temple appears to have been intended to be in use as a temple. At least that's what Yusuf told us, because there were separate little, what he called chapels, and each one dedicated to a different god, right? So it was intended to be used, but most of these temples that are built this way, they're long, narrow rectangles in floor plan. But this one actually is an L shape, and it's because... It appears to be because when they were digging the foundations to build the temple, they found the Osirian buried under the desert. And so they ended up connecting the Osirian to this temple. So you can get to it. You can get to the Osirian by going through a tunnel in the temple. But it's much deeper than the temple itself. It's way down in the bedrock. I think it's 50 feet below the surface. And it looks nothing like the temple. It's gigantic, massive, absolutely enormous megalithic and monolithic granite blocks with no writing on them. You know, there's some graffiti now, but it's just it's enormous and huge and mysterious and silent, as opposed to these temples that are full of writing and stories.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That going back to the difference between what we're thinking is, you know, traditional Egypt or Egyptian structures and Egyptian artifacts versus something possibly that predates the Egyptian civilization is the fact that there's a bunch of like extremely megalithic stuff with no writing.
Yeah,
and then you look at all the Egyptian stuff and it's just full of it. It's completely covered in writing.
They wrote on
carvings.
everything but the floor.
Yeah, they wrote on the ceilings. I mean, if they didn't write on the ceiling, they put stars all over it. You know,
right.
It's everywhere. But in the Serapeum, these boxes, for like pretty much every one of them doesn't have writing except for one, and it's like crudely scratched into the sides of it. But yeah, the Osirian, as Russ was saying, doesn't have any writing. It has some later markings on it that's obviously not by the builders.
Yeah. So the pyramids are like that.
Well,
They
it must
are
be
no
super
writing.
dark in all those spots too. How is the lighting? You guys using flashlights? Is there evidence of like torches?
Everlasting
past?
lamps.
Yeah.
The places that there were evidence of torches were mostly in the temples. The ceilings in some of the temples were black because in a lot of cases the temples were half filled with sand, and there were people living in there, and they were stables, and they were whatever, you know, and they're burning just regular torches, and it just
Campfires. Yeah.
whatever, yeah, and it's just black ceilings. But
So that's possibly not from the Egyptian era. That's like in the aftermath.
Yeah, or it's later.
or between
Between then and now.
Yeah. Between dynasties, I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? You know, some of these temples are old, but people have been using it, like regular people have been using it as a ruin for a long time.
Yeah, it has quarries. I mean, they quarried all kinds of stuff too.
There's plenty of evidence of, you know, later dynastic period Egyptian people coming in and using it as using structures that were sort of falling down from a previous age. But still Egyptian, dynastic, but it's already several hundred years old. It's falling apart. Nobody's using it anymore. It's full of sand, and they come in there and they stable their animals in it. And they live in there, you know. And then it slowly begins to fill up with occupation layers, broken pottery, and animal crap. And as the levels get higher, you know, and they're burning fires in there and using torches, the ceilings are getting darker and darker. And so the archaeologists have come in and dug all that stuff out of there, and then they have to spend all this time working on the ceilings and the walls trying to clean the soot off there. And you can see in some places there's a clear mark where they cleaned this area, and you can still see some of the paint. And then over here it's just pitch black because they haven't gotten to it yet.
But then there were other areas like in the tombs in the Valley of the Kings. They were pristine.
Yep.
You know, and that was one of the. I was just like, how did they tunnel down in here and then tunnel out this room and leave all these nice square pillars and just carve this whole perfect, beautiful room, and then go down and carve another room and go down and carve all these other rooms, and then draw all over the walls, and then come back and carve away everything and leave high relief hieroglyphs and
then paint those
and paint everything, and there's no soot. And the answer is they had very clean burning candles at this stage.
Is there evidence of like holders
Magical
for any of that
candles.
kind of stuff? Is there like torch holders or stuff
Nope.
like that? Shelving to hold candles?
No.
Nope.
Because you'd need all that kind of stuff. I mean, you're
I
not
don't know.
going
I mean, they have different technologies for lights.
I
Do
was
they?
pretty astonished
They
by
just
that.
clap?
I did hear the whole like system of mirrors idea.
Yes. Yeah.
You know. Oh
Parabolic
yeah,
mirrors.
you put a bunch of mirrors and you can bring sunlight all the way down to the bottom chamber.
Here's the thing with that. That's fucking great. But if you're going to do that, then you're just going to light a torch, man. Once it becomes easier to just light the torch, isn't that what you're going to do? Or will you die maybe from the lack of
Well, they
oxygen?
had, they had everlasting lamps. I truly
We know,
believe that.
we know.
I've read
Yeah,
enough. that-
Graham is
that
all
they
in.
they just burn forever.
Oh, they just
right?
have flashlights.
They don't
Yeah.
have any soot.
I've read about the everlasting lamps as well. I think those were probably a very closely kept secret.
Is that
No.
plugged into the Baghdad battery, you think?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the Dendera light bulbs were plugged into the Baghdad batteries, right? Yeah. Yeah, we got to see those those carvings.
How is the flight over going through like a couple of different countries, I assume?
It was long,
Yeah, it was long.
30 hours of travel.
And I don't want to get into all the other annoying aspects about travel right now. But
Yeah.
What about traveling in cab through the desert for about 8 hours to Abu Simbel? That was pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know. I went there and I was just blown away by that. But maybe after all the stuff you guys saw,
We were on a very cushy, nice, air-conditioned, gigantic VIP tour bus. So it was not a little cab. So a lot of us slept, just slept our way to Abu Simbel. But no, Kyle and I stayed awake and looked at the desert and looked at the mirages. And then, of course, once you start getting close to the lake, you got to look at the lake because it's just this strange. It's weird. Do you remember that? Just a gigantic body of water out there in the desert. It's empty. No one's on it because it's full of crocodiles.
I couldn't
Oh,
wrap
so
my
you
head
can't-
around how they moved the whole thing. Like this Abu Simbel is just massive. This massive temple, I guess, right? Is it a temple?
They cut it apart.
Did they cut it apart and move it in pieces then with cranes and shit? Or
Yes. Yeah. And they just lifted it up. I think the tour guide that was there with us showed us, he was like, it was down there. Like it was basically down below where the level of the lake is right now. And so they just cut it out of the mountainside, brought it up onto the next terrace up where the lake level wouldn't be that high. And then they built an artificial cliff wall and then put it in there.
Can we swim in the lake?
Sure.
Yeah.
If you want to be eaten by crocodiles.
Like for sure that'll happen? Is it clear? Can we like
no,
Nobody
it's
swam?
full of crocodiles.
can you see the
Nobody
crocodiles?
swims.
Nobody uses it. Yeah. We saw one patrol boat, but it's crazy. It's this enormous, beautiful body of water and it's completely empty. No pleasure craft. No.
I wonder
no-
what the crocodiles are eating.
I don't know. There must be fish in there.
Oof.
But yeah, it was weird. It's just this gigantic inland sea out there in the middle of the desert.
Will I be able to climb the pyramid?
We climbed satellite pyramids and small ones, but none of the big ones. Yeah.
You might, but you'd have to have a lot of money and probably a lot more money.
Yeah.
well, that changed.
Well, do you have like numbers?
We were able to climb it and light up a little doobie up there.
Maybe I could get a GoFundMe going for Darren Smoke's join on the pyramid.
Did you climb the pyramid, Graham?
Yeah, they let us back then. That was like 31 years ago. So
Oh yeah.
So you don't think you'd get arrested if you just went for it?
Oh yeah.
Like right
You
away?
can't even get on the plateau at night. I mean,
the thing, we had to hide the weed because they were pretty serious against weed back then.
Yeah,
man. That was, I don't know how it is now for that.
Well, I want to climb the pyramid, so add that to the whatever you got to add it to.
Yeah, you might have to take.
you're going to be told by the tour group that you need to do that on your own time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you'd have to come a day early probably and make arrangements for
Or
that.
do it a day after so that you get arrested after the tour is over.
Yeah. That way you're not in jail for the whole tour.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who's gone to jail in Egypt? How is it?
I don't know.
We were told it's awful.
A lot of hand holding.
I made a lot of jokes about. I was telling Ben, I'm like,
you gotta
Ben,
have the full experience.
Yeah, I'm like, Ben, you haven't really done Egypt if you haven't gone to jail in Egypt yet. And he's like, you don't want to go to jail here, mate. So
I'm good looking too. Ooh, that could be trouble. Could be trouble. If anyone's gonna go to jail, better be Graham.
With a little bit of sun, you could be Egyptian.
That's right. Then can I climb the pyramid?
no.
No, then they shoot you.
Yeah, that's right.
Then the MIBs get you.
Yeah, that's right. You can't do it during the day because the plateau is covered in people. So you have to do it at night, which means you have to sneak through the guards.
Well, you just pay them all off.
Right, but if he's asking if you just went for it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just telling you, like...
Yeah.
You know,
What's the average payoff?
I don't know.
It costs thousands of dollars to try to pay off the entire plateau to climb the pyramid. And then... what they really
then
don't
can
want
we all climb the pyramid for thousands?
What they really don't want is you to take a bunch of pictures and immediately post them to the internet because then they get busted.
Well, I won't post until I get home.
Yeah. It's just
I mean, if it's dark, there won't be any
Yeah, but
pictures.
then everybody wants to come to Egypt and climb the pyramid. The pyramid. Then it creates a whole crazy demand. Right?
It creates an economy, is what it creates.
Yeah, it's an economy. Yeah.
A sub-economy.
Was there any floating or sailing up the Nile at all?
Is that an economy of scaling the pyramid?
an economy of scaling.
Well, it's technically an economy of bribery, but you know, it's the same thing. It's like buying a ticket.
Yeah, but they don't want to lose their jobs or go to jail either.
What's the exchange rate like? Are we talking a couple thousand US or a couple thousand Egyptian?
Oh, no, it's gonna
it's
cost
like
you
15 to 1 or 15 something to $1.
And we're talking thousands of dollars US, not Egyptian pounds.
God damn.
I don't know what the number is. Nobody told me.
I'll
Well, that's
find
what I was
out.
told. It
I'll
would cost
find out.
thousands of dollars to try, and then
Okay.
you would probably have to pay thousands more when you were done with it.
Oh,
They all-
Russ already tried to climb the pyramid?
No, I just asked about it.
Of course you did. Man after my own heart.
We had a couple of dudes on the tour who were like, "I'm going to do it," and then they got up to the first pyramid and they were like, "No one can climb this."
Physically? Or
Yeah.
just because of the...
He just. I don't think he understood how big they were. Like and the first pyramid we really got close to for them was the bent pyramid, which has most of its casing stones still intact. So it's kind of got a slick surface and it's steep.
Yeah, that one would be.
That one
hard
would be
to
a
climb.
fuck.
Is that one of the ones that we could climb, though?
No, but you can climb the satellite pyramid that's next to it. We did.
Nice. I mean, if Graham could climb it, probably, I'm sure we all could get up there.
Yeah, if somebody offered me to climb the Great Pyramid, I would take them up on it.
Well, I'll probably offer it.
No, I mean like legitimately offer, like, hey, everything's been handled. You can legally climb this now, or everybody's been bribed. You can climb it. But
Well,
you
I'll
can't.
say that. Run, Russ! I was bullshitting.
It'd have to be Yusuf or one of the tour managers.
I'm gonna call Ben.
If Mo told me, yeah.
I'm gonna call Ben tomorrow. This is outrageous.
Call him up.
I was told to be pyramid climbing. How was the Nile cruise? Is that all full of crocodiles too? Did you get to fish?
No, none of the crocodiles we were told are below the dam anymore. So
did you swim in the Nile?
you can. We didn't. There were people doing it though. Kids.
You
Lots of
didn't
kids.
swim anywhere, Kyle? You're a swimmer.
I just swam in the pool on the Nile cruise ship.
Yeah.
You didn't do any backflips off anything?
No, no. I wanted to do a backflip down into the Osiris shaft, but there wasn't enough water in the bottom.
So the cruise ship was pretty big then.
The cruise ship was big and nice. Yeah, it was cool.
They're all the same size because they have to fit through the lock and at the upper
Luxor?
Nile. Huh? In Luxor, yeah.
So how many people are on the boat?
We actually kind of had the boat mostly to ourselves. There was a few other people, I think, on it.
Yeah, when we got up to Aswan,
we had
a
30-something people.
A big
on
group of people came in to take the cruise back down, but up all the way up, we were mostly there by ourselves. But yeah, I imagine it could hold 70 people.
How long was the cruise? That must have been pretty neat.
4 days.
Were you eating local?
Yeah. But so the part of the tour is that they take you to places where, it's trustworthy food.
High-end local?
Yeah, it was good food.
Oh man, it was so good.
The food was awesome, and yeah,
Better than
Yeah,
Tox.
if you don't want Pharaoh's revenge, you need to stay away from like the leafy
or
vegetables
or mummy tummy.
mummy tummy.
Any overnight trips to the desert at all?
No,
We were too tired. It was every day was early morning and then out all day and then
Oh my
get
God.
back and we would have a couple of beers and then we would all crash because you had to be back up at it again the next day. So no, there was no nobody. As far as I know, no one snuck off to the desert too.
Pretty nice trip though, from what Kyle. I mean, I talked to Kyle last week, a couple weeks ago. All the hotels were pretty nice, and it was a pretty cushy trip. It wasn't like people don't have to worry about roughing it.
Nope,
No.
it was top of the line the whole way. Yeah,
Yep, it was great.
top of the line for Egypt. So you got to keep that in mind. It's 5 stars for Egypt.
So like 4 stars here, 3.
Yeah, just it's
2.5.
It varies. It's mostly in the construction of things that are less stars. So the staff of all the hotels were great. The food was really good, But if you want internet, Wi-Fi, it didn't always work. If you want
You guys did kind of go radio silent there. You were pretty active for the first day or two, posting pictures, and then it dwindled off. Was that a data thing?
well, we were very active every day in our Discord. That's where we
Fucking
focused most
Discord.
of our attention. Yeah.
Kyle said on the first day that he would text me all the pictures he put in the Discord. I have the text on my phone.
Did you say that?
I forgot completely all about that. Sorry, buddy.
He's like, you got to join the Discord. I was like, I can't do that, man. He's like, all right, I'll text him to you.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
I must have been having too many beers when I told you that.
It was like 10 in the morning, but I guess there's a time change.
For you. Yeah. Yeah, we were very active in our Discord chat.
But
every
that
day.
was the thing. He had internet access, and then once the Wi-Fi went down in the hotel, I didn't have internet access because my phone is locked, and I couldn't get an Egyptian SIM card. Which, if you're going to Egypt, get an unlocked phone.
Yeah.
Or what's the carrier Ben has that is
AT&T, I guess, is he just used his AT&T worldwide. He just went and he says they charge you $10 a day while you're, to use their global network, and you get full data and everything over there. And he had pretty good service. But I just bought an Egyptian SIM card from the airport, 40 gigabytes, plugged it right into my phone immediately, and then I'm on the I get an Egyptian phone number, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah, I couldn't do that, and so I was reliant on his internet access and then when we weren't around each other, when the hotel internet went down, I was screwed.
Yeah.
How much was that SIM card?
No, like $25.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad at all. My phone's unlocked, so I could just pop it in my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I'd have a weird number, which is the same when I go to the States, but I
And
still have all my data stuff. You're communicating through. So there's all these different.
Yeah, you'll have a weird number and you'll get texts in Arabic, but other than that, you
trying to
use data,
sell you
no
stuff.
problem.
Probably they're probably trying to. You're getting Arabic
Yeah, I don't know.
spam.
I got tons of text in Arabic. I have no idea what they said.
They say go to OnlyFans with your Egypt.
Click this link. Just click this link.
Yeah.
Ben texted me, so hopefully he's on the pyramid thing already. He must be listening to the
They're
live
just
stream.
trying to notify you that your camel warranty is expired.
Did you ride a camel?
No.
Did you see camels?
Oh yeah.
There was lots of camels. That was the other thing, because the trip was so jam packed. Like, basically, what happens? Like, say if you're on the Giza Plateau, there's a lot of people with camels. They want to take you on camel rides, but we have a schedule, and there's 30 people, and they ask you, please don't accept camel rides, because what they want to do is take you off by yourself and hit you up for more money
To bring you back?
Right. And then it takes time
And
when
then
the
everyone
group,
has to wait. Yeah.
everybody has to wait on you if we're going somewhere and you've gone off by yourself. So
Yeah,
they ask
it's-
you, like, don't.
Can we go a day early and
probably-
ride camels?
You will get a chance to ride a camel.
Yeah.
It's probably a little stricter than contact at the cabin when you get out of the bus. You're like, okay, we're here for this much time. Be back at the bus at this time.
Yes. Yeah. And it's important because you don't want to make the whole group wait. And that happened multiple times. People would get stuck in the market and they're buying stuff, and then the entire bus is sitting there waiting. But we all, you kind of put up with it a little bit because it happens. But you don't want somebody just like deciding I want a camel ride, and they're gone for an hour.
Scoring coke.
And they can't get back because they don't have any Egyptian money, and the dude won't bring them back until he gets paid.
Did you give him a hand job? Well, he likes to hold hands. Maybe you could give him a handy. Does he get you hop up on the camel here with me, bro? We'll work.
But I guarantee you, on the tour, when you guys go, you'll understand. You won't. I mean, riding the camel, might be fun, but you're going to be more interested in what we're doing, which is not riding camels. We're looking at ancient stuff.
What's the weed smoking?
Darren's going to be more interested in riding a camel.
So we can just. Darren doesn't need to go on the tour.
I'll just get it out of my system the first day. We'll just go early. I'll ride a camel.
He'll be on his own.
I'll climb a pyramid. We'll get all that out of my system.
You should ride the camel up the pyramid. That would be. Nobody's ever done.
No one's done that. Darren climbed the pyramid on a camel
with the fucking Brothers of the Serpent fucking hoodie on,
smoking a joint.
Yeah. So can you smoke weed in Egypt now? Is that okay or?
No, it's not okay. But yeah,
that's the answer.
That's a good enough answer for me. It was better when it was like that everywhere. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you can get away with it on an army base without them wanting you to,
What are you talking about?
This is live.
So overall though, like, do you guys get a sense that there was definitely an antediluvian, giant civilization with building these megalithic things way like 30, 40,000 years ago or 15,000? I mean, I have a hard time going back. If you're going back 12,000 when the actual Younger Dryas happened, like you might as well go back.
It's got to be
20,000 before that. Like
that was the end of their.
That was the end, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, I do. That did not change. Like that's the idea, and I feel like the tour was designed basically like Ben worked on this itinerary, and the focus was looking at that stuff.
Wow.
That gives that gives you this sense of like, okay, there was something more, something much older that was lost that they found, and it was already ancient when they found it.
Right.
And it was so cool. It's like everywhere we went, there was one aspect that was that's what it was all about, So it was And
that's very cool. That's a great idea, to theme that.
That was the theme. And it was just fantastic.
Was it a good group?
Oh, it was a great group. Yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Ben and Yusuf and the entire Kemet school. And then, of course, Ben and his content is reflected in the people who showed up at the tour because they were mostly, they knew of us. A lot of them did, but they were there because of Ben's content, and they were just great people and very detail oriented and interested in looking. You could tell the trip, right? Because like Kyle was saying, we go in, there's this beautiful temple, all these huge columns and everything, and then there's like one broken granite box, and everyone's looking at that. Right? The entire tour group is looking at this piece of granite while they're surrounded by huge columns and, obviously dynastic work, and all the other tourists are like, wow, but we're looking at this piece of granite over in the corner in the dark because that's what we're there for. It's the remnants of ancient technology.
Totally. That's the beauty of these sort of in-house tours and taking it on and doing it like that as opposed to, like the commercial route where we're all answering an ad in a magazine or I don't know, however it goes. Even like the Graham Hancock level tours, I've never gone on one. They're probably pretty great, but even then his I mean, it might be the same group, but he's so popular it might start to.
Yeah, well, Graham would definitely have people interested in a lost civilization, but Ben's really focused on the tech. So it was clear.
Yeah, it's always such. I mean, we've been touch wood, but I mean, we've done how many of these now? And you guys gone to Egypt. Now we're gonna do another one in Egypt, and it just seems like it's always the coolest fucking people ever.
Yeah, that's
yes,
right.
It was. And the other cool thing about it is that Yusuf being our guide, not an official tour guide of Egypt or of
He's not like a licensed,
official
government
but
tour guide.
he was taking us around and pointing things out and teaching us, right? He was like the teacher of the Kemet school, and so his focus is also in that area. And so
And he does work himself, doesn't he?
he does stonework himself. So he knows, he has a lot of hands-on experience with what it takes to make artifacts. And but it's not just that. Because he's focused that way and the rest of the group is also focused that way, it was like, okay, it's expected that I brought like this laser level thing, and I also brought like another precision tool, and then some other people had some precision measuring tools, and the thing was like, well, when we say a certain word, you're a tourist.
Yeah. Not allowed to do science.
Not allowed to do science on these sites, because that's
it's against the rules.
So yeah, it was like designed in such a way that we could.
So you got to like.
We could take the liberty to
pull up the camera and put away the laser and pull up the camera.
Yes, exactly. Pretend that we had a like a safe word.
Yeah.
He'd call it out, and we'd all start pretending to be tourists. stick your all your lasers and everything away, and take out the camera and be like, "Wow, look at that beautiful writing on that wall." Yeah, it was fun.
It was brilliant.
Yeah,
That's great. Ben's one of a kind. I can't wait to hang out with him again.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you guys again in February. It should be fantastic. Of course, I guess the big thing is the places you got to go and the special permissions, the stuff Graham couldn't do when he went.
Yes. Yeah, we got great special permissions, and we're going to get some of those again on the next trip.
Can you tease a couple of those for us? I know you don't have the whole itinerary worked out, but can you tease us a couple of the special permissions that will be available?
Yeah, so there's a list of possible special permissions. I think we're going to try to narrow it down to 3. The ones I want to do, we're just going to have to see if this is totally feasible. I want the special permission for the Great Pyramid for sure. That's the one where you get 2 hours in the Great Pyramid after the Giza Plateau is closed, so it's at night, and you're the only people in there.
So this is when I leave early and climb.
They open up all the
chambers and all the passageways. So
underground passageways?
Yeah, so you can freely explore. Yeah, we went all the way down to the subterranean chamber and all the way up in the you could look at everything.
Is it 2 hours is enough time to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
We basically almost did everything twice.
Yeah. We were super excited. So we were like,
pyramids.
Yeah.
Now, how does that compare to your Great Pyramid experience, Graham?
I went up all the way into the King's Chamber and got a couple minutes in there, maybe 10 minutes or something, I think, or like it was just the normal flow, but it didn't feel too crowded or rushed or anything like that. But definitely, I don't think it went underground from.
Yeah, they normally have the Queen's Chamber closed and the subterranean chamber, you can't go down there. So this is all that will be open, and you'll have 2 hours to explore it. And we'll be the only people in there except for the caretaker guy.
And Kyle have his guitar?
Nope, I don't think so.
No guitars allowed, or guitars banned in Egypt like drones?
Yeah, they don't. There's
not allowed to play music.
I mean, you can't even do a rock and roll dance. You can't do a rock dance in the King's Chamber without getting kicked out.
Man, they just like no partying at all, no climbing, no rocking.
I was just like
DMT and a vape.
It was just finally at the very end. It was like we had 10 minutes left, and I'm in the King's Chamber, and I'm just looking at it, and we're about to leave, and I'm just like,
I want to rock,
yes, dude. And the guy just flipped out.
Are you serious? Really?
Kicked us out. He was like, "No, you leave, you leave."
Really?
And Kyle was like doing some ceremonial dance.
I started doing like the reverse freaking electric guitar, like yeah. I wasn't screaming. It was perfectly silent.
Yeah, Ben's got it on video.
I did a little karate kick,
and he still tossed you out.
Difference. I'm sure there wasn't a guard at the King's Chamber when I went.
No, he's the caretaker. Like he's the only other. He was watching everybody and making sure we weren't doing something. But yeah, he was.
So we'll get him a hooker.
Yeah. So one of the other places I want to take the next tour. I want people to be able to go down into the Osirian, because normally you can only look at it from above. But we got the special permission to be able to go down there and into it and really walk around and explore it.
The other one that would be really awesome would be to go under the step pyramids.
That's the other one I want. Yeah, the step pyramid special permission. It's the other one where you get to explore like
miles of tunnel,
a labyrinth of tunnels.
Wow!
Pyramid.
Did you guys do that this time?
Yeah.
And then the Serapeum.
The Serapeum's not a special permission, so we're going to get to do that for sure.
I just want extra time in there.
Yeah,
with like everybody well paid.
Yeah,
excellent.
The other possible special permissions would be actually getting down between the paws of the Sphinx, which might be fun, but it's not as interesting to me as these other sites.
I agree.
Yeah, and then Abu Sir and Abu Ghurab are special permissions, I guess. So those have lots of interesting evidence of ancient technology there, but I can't put those above the Osirian or the Bent Pyramid. So we're working it out with Ben. We'll have a final itinerary soon, and we'll be able to put it on the website. And
I got people texting me already, making sure they're on the short list. So, I mean, if you guys go to contact@thecabin.com, we got a list going. We don't know exactly how many are going yet. I mean, everyone on the list will get a group email when we do know, and it'll be, the first people to pay that deposit. It won't be through us, of course. It'll be directly to the School of Kemet, is my understanding. They're going to handle all of that, so I can't tell you what the deposit's going to be or anything like that. But there's going to be a hard number, and it's going to be the first, whatever it is, 40, 50, 60. I don't know what the number is. We'll know what it is, and it'll be on the page, and we'll let you guys know in the email.
Yep.
But just think about that, because when it does come out, it's going to be a first come, first serve. And I know I'm good at finagling people into the events usually, or adding a room or adding a cabin, but we can't do that this time. It's going to be it's going to be a hard number, and it's going to be out of my hands, out of our hands on that level. So when do you think we can look forward to that? Do you think that'll be this year?
Oh, for the itinerary before the end of the year? That's a question for Ben. We're working on it.
We do have a meeting. We're planning a meeting with the organizer and Ben.
Yeah.
And we're waiting on that date to be confirmed. And once we have that meeting, we'll know a lot more.
And that meeting should be soon. So, but that one will definitely happen before the end of the year, and we'll know a lot more. And shouldn't be too long before. If it's not before the end of the year, then it shouldn't be too long after it. So
keep an eye. Like I say, there's about 70 people on there already. I'm sure not all of them. Everyone's. It's always easy to sign up for a waiting list.
Yeah.
Once it comes time to do the deposit, I'm sure it won't be the case. And Ben says yes, itinerary before the end of the year.
Oh, good.
So that means we should be
Ben.
by January. We should be taking deposits. So get your name on that waiting list. If you're having trouble figuring that out, just email me, Darren@grimerica.com, or email the Snake Bros, or email Graham, email anyone, and we'll get you sorted to the right spot. So Egypt, fantastic. I mean, we won't keep you guys too much longer. I got to say, it's been an absolute honor palling around the country and getting to know you guys.
Likewise, man.
A little bit better over the last couple of years, and I can't wait to go to Egypt with you guys next year. It's going to be fucking great. We're going to have a fantastic group of people like Tony Roberts. There's going to be so many people there that have been to the other events already. It's going to be a once in a fucking lifetime.
It's going to be once in a lifetime
event. So I did want to say, I guess I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, I don't know if I'll make it down to Texas, but we do have to meet in Soap Lake in January at some point to meet with the resort staff there and figure that out. And then there's, of course, Magic on the Mountain. Which has started just this last week to sell. I mean, this week and the week before, it's been selling out fast.
Oh, good.
I think we're down to about 8 spots left now. We sold 4 spots on Monday. Now that Brandon and Owen and all those guys have started, Joe have started promoting it harder on their end. We're getting people jumping in all over. So that's going to sell out. If you guys want to, maybe Egypt. I mean, the main problem with the Egypt trip is it's a high price point. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's going to be closing in on the $7,000 range.
It's high price
plus airfare.
Airfare.
It's 2 weeks,
and it's 2.5 weeks with the travel on either end. It's going to be closing in on 7,000 USD, but it's going to be a fantastic trip. It's 5-star. You're getting all these special permissions. You can't go to Egypt and do this trip by yourself. I'm not worried about selling out the Egypt trip. The reason I'm saying that is because maybe you're like, fuck, this sounds awesome. I want to go hang out with the Snake Bros. I want to go hang out with Ben. I want to go hang out with Grimerica, but I don't have $7,000. Well, that's the good news. You look at the Arizona event, you can get into that for under $1,000. You know, it's like, I think there's spots coming in that $600 range. That includes everything.
That's the Matheson one?
That's the Arizona one with Brandon Powell, Owen Hunt, and Joe Roop. The reality surfing, life hacking, magic on the mountain.
Arizona, I always think of the Utah one too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. It's Utah is the Matheson trip. My bad.
That's right. That one is sold out.
That one's sold out.
Sold out, unfortunately. But there is eight or 9 spots left for the Arizona one. It's going to be fantastic. You just got to get yourself to the airport in Phoenix. We'll pick you up there. We'll take you up the mountain. We'll feed you all weekend. We'll show you a fantastic time, and we'll take you back to the airport. And I'm excited to say Keith and Gage back on board for this one.
All right.
Soap Lake, especially the last time around, the food at Soap Lake with the Randall Carlson tour was fantastic. It was much better the last time around. Yep. But nothing beats the Keith and Gage cooking experience. It's one of a kind. The coffee is always on with those guys. It's amazing. And they always have a little surprise for us. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be up in the snow-filled mountains of Arizona. We'll be doing the cold plunging with Brandon Powell himself. And doing all that life hacking. And of course, we're going to do a day trip.
Don't forget the hermetic wisdom with Joe too.
With Joe Roop, we're magic
and
rituals.
The reality surfing with Owen Hunt. It's going to be pretty cool.
Not to mention a ton of cool people coming along for the ride. There's a couple actually people I can't mention by name, but there's a few celebrity from our genre, a few celebrity guests coming to that one.
Oh wow!
That are coming to hang out and learn all that stuff with us. I'll text you. I'll let you know.
Oh, okay, good.
You can know.
I'm on the inside, guys.
You're on the inside.
Lie to him.
Yeah, I'll just say, it's
gonna lie to me.
It's Joe Rogan.
Secret society, that Brothers of the Serpent.
Right.
And of course, we have the Scablands with Randall Carlson. I mean, I think the Montana event's almost sold out already, but that's in June. There are some spots left for that. We got people coming from the UK to both events this year. And then we got the Scablands next year is on sale now. And we got the Egypt waiting list. Of course, that's all the Randall Carlson stuff, which is amazing as well.
Yep, that's right.
So where can our listeners track your stuff down?
Our website is brothersoftheserpent.com. That's where you can find all the podcast related stuff. Our podcast is mostly an audio show, so you can find it anywhere podcasts can be found through your favorite podcast app. But we're also on YouTube if you prefer to listen that way.
To watch a logo.
Yeah, to watch hours of logo and listen to us talk. You can find us on YouTube or just look up Brothers of the Serpent. But yeah, any web search for Brothers of the Serpent will find us in multiple ways. And we're also on Twitter and, Instagram. So.
And you guys have a Patreon going now too, right?
We do. Yeah, we have Patreon content. So every once in a while when we have time and
I have enough beers.
And we have enough beers and some ideas, we'll bang out a Patreon episode, which is, special, and it's even more informal than the regular show. It's just for our supporters. So that's been a lot of fun. I've put up some me reading short fiction on there just for the hell of it. So there's all kinds of interesting content on the Patreon, and we're always making more. So
that's it. Well, we encourage our listeners, if they haven't already, I mean, we have a lot of crossover already, obviously, with us doing the events together. But anyone who hasn't, encourage them to go check that out. If they want to hear Russ go off the rails a little bit, head over to GrimericaOutlawed.ca and sign up for that Plus subscription. The Plus episode of Contact at the Cabin gets a little spicy. What a fun event! I mean, it all turned out all right in the end.
It did.
Yeah. It was just weird when everyone was getting COVID.
Yeah. Yes, that was very weird.
Yeah, but still successful event. And all the reviews are great. I got to find somewhere on the website to start putting the reviews.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
No, the website revamp looks good.
Thank you, sir. We actually got a hell of a team going. It's when people keep coming back to the event over and over again, though, it does start to look a little culty.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only problem. Is I think like the Dave Matheson, Brandon Powell, Utah event.
Are we not starting a cult? I thought that's what we were doing.
Well, we're not like. Are we? Graham's the leader.
Well, listen to the name of their bloody podcast, brother.
All right.
Serpent.
I mean,
it's
come on, guys.
It's
All
the
we need-
secretest culty of the cult. I mean,
We do usually do like an 80% rebuy on an event. So I mean,
that's good.
maybe it is a cult.
Yeah, the name of the podcast is that's just the first filter.
yeah,
That just keeps certain people away.
Yep,
yeah.
that's right.
Or it attracts others.
That's right.
Graham and I are good at keeping people
Just
away
Snake
all on
Bros.
our
Come
own.
on.
It's the Snake Bros. I've had it with these motherfucking snakes. Well, hopefully you guys are done traveling for a while now, because I know you were like the road trip back home from Washington, and then a few days at home, and then off to Egypt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still trying to catch up.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the work front and all the other fronts, but it was all awesome.
Well, next year I think we get to see each other like a half a dozen times or something like that.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, it'll be fantastic. We'll spend well over a month together now, or at least a month together next year. A little over a month.
All right.
And then I'm gonna hire Brandon to hire, because I figure if we do a month of Scablands or 3 Scablands tours, it might be a bit much for both of you guys to commit to.
Maybe.
So I've got Ben we can hire Ben to drive one of the vans here and there. Brandon, History Shift. I'm actually going to see him next weekend.
Oh, good.
So if you I'm going to pay him a visit.
Going on, History Shift.
What's up, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm going to go down and say hi to him now that they've opened up the southern border again, and I can, I've always been allowed, but everyone can. So I'm going to travel down with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Check out some of that Montana freedom, try it on for size for the weekend. Go out for dinner.
Are you scouting for the?
No, man, I live in a dystopian nightmare of a country right now that won't let me go to restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, I don't have papers. So I'm going to Montana where they don't agree with that kind of stuff. So I can go shoot some guns and eat some food.
All right.
That's always a good reason to go.
It's like close Texas. I'd like to come there, but it's a long drive and they won't let me on a plane.
Okay, Montana's a close Texas. Okay, I get it.
They won't let me on a plane right now either. So
okay.
I'm telling you, we need a timeshare in Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could meet up there for Christmas in the snow.
Yep.
All right. Well, we won't keep you guys any longer. We know you're all behind from all your globe trotting and having a good time. We encourage you guys to check out their podcast. And yeah.
Thanks, guys.
It's always a pleasure.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Good to see y'all.
Good night.
All right, lads.
Later on.
And that was a chat with Snake Bros. What'd you guys think? What'd you think, buddy? I don't know, you guys.
Yeah, it's good. You know my answer.
So just
it's always good. It's always fun.
Submit Graham generic response.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
It really makes me think that this history is completely different than what we know. I don't know.
Yeah.
When you hear 2 friends of yours that get to go and check out all that thing focused on the antediluvian stuff, I mean,
people you fully trust, it's like not a YouTube channel. Not that I don't trust Ben and these guys. I love Ben, but and that's even, we've got to know Ben over the years, but I mean, it's instead of being on the TV or on the thing, it's like, 2 of your buddies went there and they're like, holy fuck.
Yeah. When it's focused on that. Right. And then they see,
and they know what they're looking for.
Yeah. And they see in so many areas, this evidence of something that's way, way older than anybody recognizes, from the mainstream narrative. So
absolutely. And of course, Ben is one of a kind when it comes to what he's doing and what he's looking for. We could not be, we would not consider the Egypt tour without him coming in and helping us out with that. That was the big thing that made it a possibility. Yeah. So big shout out to Ben on UnchartedX. Go check out his channel, check out his stuff. He's got some great YouTube stuff on the Scablands tour we did with Randall Carlson earlier this year. So go check that out, guys. I think that's about it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Somehow I built a rocket ship out of the stuff dreams are made and popsicle sticks. Please look at my rocket ship schematics. Tell me you can fly to the moon. Tell me I'm not a lunatic. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a space cadet. In my hands I have a gas can and matchsticks. Yes, Earth is my home, but I need a vacation from all the sadness, the chaos, and dramatics. I'll let you do the countdown, 3, 2, 1, no hesitation. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. I bet you think I'm a space cadet. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a space cadet. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a dreamer. Look at my rocket ship fly by, trailing behind a silver streamer. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a space cadet. No regret, I do not fret, 'cause I am a dreamer.